On this week's episode of the Left Bench TV, the first annual Left Bench TV Awards.
Also, Terps moving on to the pros and to the postseason. We'll cover all the bases.
Plus, I'll show you one club in Maryland that's not just horsing around. The Left Bench TV starts right now.
Welcome into this year's final episode of the Left Bench TV. I'm Alex Flum.
And I'm Noah Gross. 116 years these teams have done battle, and I mean battle. There have been some epic games in the rivalry between Johns Hopkins and Maryland men's lacrosse, but perhaps nothing like this past Saturday. It was an instant classic over at Homewood Field in Baltimore, and I went right up I-95 to cover the game of the year. Nearly 1,800 wins, over 2 centuries of college lacrosse, and 56 national titles combined between these two powerhouses from Maryland.
It's the oldest rivalry in college lacrosse, the greatest rivalry in college lacrosse. I'd say one of the greatest rivalries in any sport. And you know, like Tim said, growing up, this is the kind of game you dream of. We had a bunch of guys on the sideline saying, like, this is what we live for, we won it overtime. 116
meetings in the rivalry, but Saturday's was the first to go to triple overtime.
It's awesome. You know, this is what you grow up playing for. These are, you know, the moments just playing with my brother in the backyard that you dream of.
The atmosphere with the Big Ten title on the line was electric.
To see the crowd, they're just great. They're unbelievable. Just the way they travel. All of our fans, all of our friends, family. It's really a great experience.
A back and forth affair saw the Terps down 2 with just minutes to go.
I was kind of telling the team, you know, every day we go, coach will say, you know, red team, kind of the guys that are playing against the scout team in practice, he'll say red team's down by 2 with 3 minutes left, and that was exactly what happened today.
Jared Bernhardt and Connor Kelly, Maryland's top 2 scorers, shot a combined 0 for 24. And it was an unlikely hero who stole the show. In triple overtime, Will Snyder scored the game winner.
For him to kind of break out of his shell, especially in a game like this, and the last 2 goals of the game was huge. I think it's really going to help his confidence and roll over into the Big Ten tournament.
After that wild 8-7 thriller over in Baltimore, it's up to Ann Arbor for the Terps, where they will be the #1 seed in the Big Ten tournament this year. Maryland will face the 4th-seeded Rutgers Scarlet Knights this Thursday, who they took down earlier in April.
It had been almost a decade since a Terp was taken in the first round of the NFL draft until Thursday night. With the 24th overall pick, the Carolina Panthers took Maryland star receiver DJ Moore. Now, this pick is not too surprising. Moore was pretty good at Maryland, and Panthers offensive coordinator Norv Turner was at Maryland Pro Day. Not to mention, they just traded for Terp and Super Bowl champion Torrey Smith. Now, Moore was this year's Big Ten Receiver of the Year. He's the 16th Terp to be taken in the first round. First time that's happened since Darius Hayward-Bay in 2009. Moore was one of just 3 receivers in all of college football last year with 80 catches, 1,000 receiving yards, and 8 touchdowns. Those 80 catches, a program record. Now, also, senior linebacker Jermaine Carter Jr. will be joining Moore in Carolina. A 3-time honorable mention All-Big Ten selection, Carter led the Terps and finished in the top 10 of the conference with 90 tackles last season. Maryland has now had multiple players taken in the NFL draft 3 of the last 4 years. And a few Terps latching onto undrafted free agent deals. Cornerback J.C. Jackson, who many expected to be drafted, has signed with the Patriots. Pretty good spot. Defensive lineman Kingsley Opara and Savon Walker both inking deals. Opara to Houston, Walker to Chicago.
Huge honor for those Terps.
Oh, yeah, pretty exciting.
It's really impressive, and I would say they're worthy of some awards, and I think it's finally time that we give out some awards here on the Left Bench TV.
Let's check them out. Check them out.
And our first category is Coach of the Year, and our first nominee, John Tillman of the men's lacrosse team. They just won their 4th straight Big Ten regular season title, and Alex, they're looking to repeat as champions.
Well, Noah, another coach trying to repeat, Kathy Reese of Maryland women's lacrosse. Just 1 loss all season. That coming at North Carolina by 1 goal. Since then, 14 straight wins.
And how about Brenda Fries of the Maryland women's basketball team? They lost a lot of key players. Alex talked about Brianna Jones, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, and Destiny Slocum, all gone this year. New players step up. They're the 2 seed in the Big Ten, a number 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. They make it all the way to the second round.
Impressive for them. One team that made it pretty far, Maryland field hockey. Missy Mahard proved all the haters wrong, took them all the way to the national title game. They did fall to UConn 2-1 though in Louisville, but Missy Mahard is our TLBTV Coach of the Year. Congrats to her.
How about the job she did this year, Alex? Talk about a lot of new faces in the team. She really earned her way to TLBTV's Coach of the Year. Now we'll go to Freshman of the Year. Speaking of new faces, how about Bubba Fairman? In his first game with the Terps, the Utah native had a hat trick. He's been dominant this season.
Next up, Bruno Fernando from basketball. You see right there, that's what he did all year. Lots of dunks, lots of energy. This guy was an exciting freshman to watch in College Park.
Another exciting freshman, Grace Griffin, over on the lacrosse field. Great season from her. 23 goals, 7 assists, and 28 ground balls.
And Michaela Days from women's soccer making it on this list too. She played in just 5 games, but led the team in points. They're expecting big things from her.
Great season from her, but our winner, of course, Bruno Fernando, the electric in goal. And a lot of big dunks this year, and he really earned his position as TLBTV Freshman of the Year.
Yeah, 10 points, 6.5 rebounds per game, more than a block a game, and he's declared for the NBA draft without hiring an agent. We'll see what happens. Now on to Male Athlete of the Year. First up, Yusuf Hamida from Maryland Wrestling. Hamida this year an All-American and an academic All-American. 2 things he didn't do last year. Big improvement for the big guy.
And Connor Kelly of the men's lacrosse team led the team in both goals and assists this year. 36 goals, 29 assists. Did a little bit of everything. He was taken 2nd overall in the MLL draft. He's headed to Atlanta after a great season in College Park this year.
Big stuff for Connor Kelly. Now to the hardwood, Anthony Cowan Jr. It was a rough season for Maryland men's basketball, but you could say Cowan was a bright spot. Led the team in points, assists, steals, and minutes played. He played every game. An extension of Mark Turgeon on the court. Anthony Cowan Jr. His name's Junior, but he's a sophomore, and he is on our list of nominees for Male Athlete of the Year.
And similar to Cowan, on the football field now, DJ Moore, football team struggled, but he was a bright spot. He was the 2017 Big Ten Receiver of the Year. He led the conference with a Maryland record 80 catches. He was really unbelievable this year. First team All Big Ten, really earned that with a myriad of quarterbacks at that position. And drum roll, please, Alex. Our winner is, I think you guessed it, he was just picked in the draft, DJ Moore, going 24th to the Carolina Panthers. Here you see Norv Turner, the Panthers offensive coordinator, right there.
DJ Moore will be joining fellow Terp Torrey Smith in Carolina. I expect to see him making plays like this in the NFL. Now on to our final category, Female Athlete of the Year. First up, Noah, Skylan Elazar. This Hawaiian was sending the ball flying over the fence this year, Noah. A team best 6 home runs. Also led the team with a .316 batting average, and she represented Philippines internationally.
She was unbelievable this year, Alex, but how about Megan Whittle? Been unbelievable over her 4 years in College Park as well. The girl that almost never loses. She's been dominant in her entire career. Lisa Turp with 65 goals this year. She also broke the program scoring record. Still looking for another national title.
And it would be a big repeat for her and the Terps. Now onto the tennis courts. The dynamic duo of Millie Stretton and Eva Alexandrova. They went 16-3 this year, including an impressive 9 consecutive doubles matches won for them. Great season over there at the tennis complex.
And over on the court, another outstanding season for Kyla Charles. Really stepping up this year, helping out Brenda Fries. A lot of Terps leaving the program, but she really did it all this year. A big reason for Maryland's success.
All right, Noah, how about one more drum roll? Female Athlete of the Year for TLBTV is Megan Whittle, the electrifying attack of Maryland lacrosse. Megan, 65 goals, as you mentioned already this year, chasing for one more national title in her career. Congrats to Whittle, and congrats to all the winners. As Whittle's final season unfolds, the Terps have already won the Big Ten regular season title. Next up, the Big Ten tournament. Nolan Gelbard has a look at the team's postseason hopes.
The Maryland women's lacrosse team screamed with joy after just winning the regular season Big Ten title. Since the Big Ten introduced women's lacrosse in 2015, the Terps have won all 22 regular season conference games they've played. Up next for them is the Big Ten tournament, where they once again control the number 1 seed. The Terps are coming in hot and right where head coach Kathy Reese wants them to be.
It's all I've talked about all year, is getting us on the same page where we're shooting well, we're moving the goalie, we're clearing space for each other, we're looking for opportunities to create good offensive looks, and we did that.
Maryland has 3 players nominated for the Tewaaraton Award this year, and one is none other than Megan Whittle. The senior has truly made a name for herself, even becoming the leading goal scorer in Maryland history. But even she knows there are still some things that need to be improved.
We have these lulls every once in a while. They'll go on a 3-goal run, and we miss a few shots in a row, and that's momentum. And once you get to tournament time, NCAA, different things like that, that can make or break you.
As for Jen Giles, even though she has the 3rd most points on the team, she knows the tournament can be unpredictable.
I'm so proud of what we've done today, but that doesn't mean anything about this tournament. We still have to show up there and really play hard and fight for that. So I'm just excited for another challenge, and we're going to try our best.
Megan Seiferson got her first career hat trick tonight. Her next challenge is against tough Big Ten opponents.
They're good teams. Everyone that's playing us gives us their best game. So we really need to prepare, stick to the scout, and do what we can to just play Maryland lacrosse and continue to do what we do best.
Maryland heads to postseason play, hoping to bring home another Big Ten title and possibly another national title. For the Left Bench TV, I'm Nolan Gelbard.
The women's lacrosse team will take on Johns Hopkins Friday evening at 5 p.m. in Ann Arbor, Michigan to start this year's Big Ten tournament.
While the Big Ten tournament for women's lacrosse is coming up, the Maryland golf team played in the Big Ten tournament this past weekend at the Baltimore Country Club. Maryland senior David Coker shot 69 on day 1 and 68 on day 2 to find himself in a tie for 3rd going into the final round. But the North Carolina native did struggle on Sunday and shot a final round 5 over par 75, finishing in a tie for 5th at 2 over par. And despite a rough final round, Coker was named to the Big Ten All-Tournament team for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. Impressive there. And fellow Terp Peter Nade finished 18th at 6 over par.
Some big things coming for Maryland athletics. In April, the university announced a more than $21 million gift to the athletics program. Barry and Mary Gossett are funding the Gossett Center for Academic and Personal Excellence. The program's mission is, quote, to ensure the development of UMD student athletes in both athletics and academics, end quote. Most student athletes don't go to the pros, so the center will focus on helping students get good jobs after graduation. The program will start this fall.
All right, Alex, exciting stuff there, but I think it's time for a staple in our show. Both of our personal favorites, I think.
Well, I would have to admit it is without a doubt my favorite. So for the final time, let's kick it off to one final thought.
Thanks, Alex and Noah. The Maryland men's soccer team has had a pretty busy offseason. Last week, they picked up a 1-1 draw against Akron University to wrap up their spring game schedule. Then a few days later, DC United rolled into town to face off against Maryland in a scrimmage at Ludwig Field. This gave a chance for 3 former Terps to make their return to College Park. Defender Chris Aduyatsum, Patrick Mullins, and Taylor Kemp made their return to the university, where they played under head coach Sasha Sorowski for a few years in college. So with all this action going on in the offseason, it's safe to say that the Terps look pretty good heading into the fall regular season. And who knows, maybe we'll see a few Terps at DC United in the seasons to come. This has been my final thought. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that, Juan. We are definitely going to miss Juan final thought on this show, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think Juan might deserve a top 10 Juan final thoughts moment over his career at the left bench. But I mean, I think it's time we talk about the top 10 plays of Maryland's season. Starting
off with number 10, we head to the hardwood Daryl Morcell of Maryland basketball. Check this 360 slam out. He's the guy that wears number 10. He's at number 10. You know, unfortunately for him and the team, the rest of the season didn't go as well as this dunk.
We'll go over to field hockey for number 9. Some love for the national runner-ups. Freshman Tyler Greenwald, backhanded goal here. Very impressive. What a goal. What a season for them.
To Ludwig for number 8, G. Christic scores from almost midfield, had the distance and got it in the goal. Absolutely incredible.
We'll go to the gridiron here. Darnell Savage, a pick 6, tiptoes the sideline. He gets there eventually. Trust me on this one. A great play from him and a great win against Towson.
Now on to number 6, to the field hockey and lacrosse complex. How about Caroline Steele falling as she scores? Check this out again. Oh man, they call that an N1 ref.
Over halfway through now, Chelsea Jackson for the women's soccer team, the game winner against Richmond. One of the bright spots for the team this year.
I know, you know what rhymes with 4? More. And DJ Moore dodged at least 4 defenders on this play, found his way all the way to the goal line and into the end zone too.
And for number 3, he did it a few years ago. He did it again this year. Sebastian Elmy, a game winner in extra time against UCLA. Of course, the shirt comes off. What a finish.
Now let's set the scene. Big Big Ten game against Northwestern. Kevin Biondic launches the 2-run homer over the outfield wall. He had a save in that game too, Noah.
I don't think any doubt our top play this past weekend, Will Snyder, game winner, triple overtime. The Terps take the rivalry against Johns Hopkins. What an atmosphere there. Congrats, Will, on that accomplishment. Well, Flum, that goal was awesome. And hey, is for horses. So without further ado, I want to talk about this. Zach Solon, he went to a farm here in Maryland, and this is what he saw.
A day hanging out with the horses. The Maryland Equestrian Club is a student-run horse care club here on the farm at Maryland.
We're just a real horsemanship club. We teach the care of the horses, and then an added bonus is that we get to ride in our ring here on campus too.
The club consists of almost 60 members who learn skills in horse care, riding, and instructing. Senior Morgan Driver has been in the club for 4 years.
So I started as like a C and intermediate level and like worked my way up to a more advanced level. So we have like teachers, our lesson instructors are students. So they teach our lessons, so we learn from our peers, which is really a nice part of the club.
The club is open to any and all students, regardless of their experience with horses.
Riding horses since I was 6 years old, so it's such a unique opportunity being right on campus, and there's a lot of involvement opportunities for leadership.
It's a good experience because I've never had any work with horses at all, and it's a great learning experience for like how to take care of them and learning how to ride them.
The Maryland Equestrian Club can be found working hard with the campus horses 365 days a year. But after a long day, it's time to hit the hay. For the Left Bench TV, I'm Zach Solon.
I would have loved to seen Zach actually try and ride one of those. I don't think he would have been able to do it.
Rumor has it they wouldn't even let him on one. I think, it's probably a good idea. But anyway, we kept Zach busy over the weekend. After he spent some time with the horses, he went down to McKeldin Mall with Ryan Homler for this week's What the Sports segment. Let's check it out.
Thanks, guys. Ryan Homley here alongside Zach Solon. It's Maryland Day in College Park, and we're here to figure out if the Maryland faithful really know everything about Maryland sports. DJ Moore was drafted. What team?
I stopped watching after the Jets picked Sam Darnold.
Just give me a team.
I'm going to go Bears.
Panthers.
Carolina Panthers.
Jags.
Not the Browns.
Who led Maryland basketball in scoring this past season?
Jeez, I have no clue. Trumbull.
Say Herder.
I guess Cowan.
Who was the last Maryland football player to be drafted in the first round?
I got no idea.
It's either Diggs or Smith.
It was the guy who goes, he's with the Vikings now.
When was the last time Maryland football won a national championship?
When they beat Navy in 1939.
Not within my lifetime.
53.
Maryland football, their quarterback this past season was Max Bortenschlager, spelled Bortenschlager.
Bortenschlager.
Bortn.
August 30th, and the again, who will they be playing against in FedEx Field? Who will they be playing against?
That would be the Texas Longhorns.
You are correct.
Alex, I'll be honest, those are some tough questions, especially spelling Max Bortenschlager. I mean, can you?
I could try it. Let's see. It's Bortenschch.
Sounds right so far.
Laager. I think.
I would have no idea.
I think that's it. Anyway,
Yeah.
we do have a final word here. This is my last Left Bench show. I'll put that out there before I start this. And when I came to the University of Maryland as a freshman, I wanted to start a sports TV show. There wasn't really a way for underclassmen to get on-camera opportunities. I wanted to change that. Getting a little emotional here. Foolishly, I thought it would happen my first semester. It didn't happen. 2 years in, it still hadn't happened. So I approached the Left Bench founders, Michael Stern, Justin Meyer, and Kofi Aboa, with the idea for a studio show. They embraced it, and I'm forever grateful for that. We filmed the last show, a small, talented, and determined crew We ran with it, and we never looked back. I want to thank Danielle Stein for starting this and running this with me, Jake Britton as well from the very beginning. Thank you to Ann Parangot for choosing sports over politics and helping us really elevate the quality of our show. To Noah Gross, sitting right beside me, for stepping up this year and buying into the future of this show. In the control room, Lauren Anakis, Thomas Mason, rest of the team. There would be no left bench without all of you. And if I sat here and listed every person that's ever contributed to this show, we would be sitting here for at least another hour or two. But I would be remiss if I didn't thank the Philip Merrill College of Journalism and especially Joe Yasharoff and Al Perry for taking time away from their personal time to help make this show happen. It's been a fun ride the past few years, and I wouldn't trade the dozens of all-nighters editing shows for anything. It's made me so happy to see students just coming into school getting opportunities to be part of the show right away. The Left Bench TV is a show, but it's also a family. I'll miss every person that has been a part of this amazing staff, and while this is my last show, it's not the last show, and as I'm set to graduate in a few weeks, I couldn't possibly have more faith in this group and in the future. So to the rest of the Left Bench TV, it's up to you now. Take it, run with it, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Alex, wow, you said you were getting emotional.
Yeah.
You're getting me emotional
well,
over here.
I made it through that without crying somehow.
Yeah,
so.
that was impressive. I mean, we thank you for all you've done for the Left Bench TV. There obviously would be no Left Bench TV without you, and we hope to carry on your legacy next year. And I think you did well for your last ever show.
Now, make sure the show doesn't end.
Yes.
I want to be able to come back in 10 years and still have the show exist.
Shows will be back and better than ever next year.
Right.
So we are excited for that. But at least for this show now, that'll do it for this edition of the Left Bench TV. Make sure to keep up with all of our Terps coverage over on our social media accounts at The Left Bench on Twitter and The Left Bench on Facebook.
And don't forget to check out our website, theleftbench.com, for more coverage of Maryland athletics for all of our crew and for Noah Gross. I'm Alex Flum here in College Park for The Left Bench. Thanks for watching.
Let's play a game called How Much Can You Hide? These goddamn first impressions are tearing me up inside. I have this dull ache in my head. I get it from time to time, and there's no medicine to get you out of there.